It's asparagus time. Look at those new little shoots. Now these ones are too small for eating purposes. You want them about the thickness of a pencil or thicker. This plant has been in a pot for the last 4 or 5 years. Actually, there's like 3 or 4 plants. I'm gonna plant them in the ground since this is our home. We're not renting, so I'm gonna get to plant these in a more permanent place. An asparagus plant will grow for 20 years. Oh, look at this. You see the little purple guy right there? There's a couple little ones coming in. It takes asparagus about 2 to 3 years to establish before they start sprouting big enough stems for you to eat. So these ones are too little, and I will let them continue to grow, and they kind of look to me like a fern, a really tall fern when they grow up. So I am actually going to put this in the ground for the first time. This has never been in the ground, and I have a bunch of new ones. These are normal green asparagus you'd see at the store, but my new ones are purple, and I actually have a couple pots. This pot was ones I bought last year, but you can't even see, they're not even sprouted yet. So that one's a fairly new pot. This one is a really old pot. So this is the front of my house, and you can see the kids' bedrooms. There's the garbage area. This is where I'm going to have an asparagus bed. So the asparagus I just showed you, that I think is going to stay in the pot, but I got several other pots that aren't as established. I just dug that trench, so I'm a little out of breath. Anyways, so I'm going to put asparagus along the wall, and then probably flowers in here, because I think asparagus is really pretty when it's growing. Anyway, so if you see how muddy this is, I'm not planting my more established asparagus that I had already previously showed you, because like I said, I had that one for several years, and I don't want it to get root rot and damaged. It has been doing well where it's at. So I found a bucket of dirt that I used last year for potatoes, and the potatoes didn't reach the bottom, but even this is muddy, and this was in a garbage can with a lot of holes in it to drain. Potatoes are cleared out of it, so I'm going to use this because of the stuff that's inside of it. Makes it a little bit better to drain. That mud is pretty much clay. So I'm going to condition the ground with this, and I'm going to put in some fertilizer also, and I will show you the root ball in a minute of asparagus and new asparagus and how they have to be separated. You have to make little mounds, and then you separate them like octopuses over the mounds, and then you cover them. This is bark. I've pulled it away from the wall where I want the asparagus, and then I dug a trench. And now I'm going to put a little bit of the dirt in it. I'm going to separate the asparagus I do have, and then I'm going to plant them on their little mounds, and then I'll cover it with dirt. I do not know if I'm going to push all the bark back, even though it looks like it's broken down quite a bit, so it might be easy for them to grow. Some of these pieces are a little too big for the brand new asparagus to grow through, because they're really thin at first. So I don't know if I'm going to put them there, but as they get bigger, I will put a like trellis thing kind of more against the wall. I have it 6 inches away from the wall because every so often there are these mounds of cement. There's one right here that I don't know what they're for, so I just decided to pull it away from the wall. And that is going to be asparagus. We have a purple asparagus that I got at Tractor Supply. These ones I got at Tractor Supply last year, and these are green, so this is what I had in a pot. These ones are ones I planted last year that I had in a pot. This one's a little bit more established, you could see. Usually they don't have all these little ones. This one's been kind of used and abused. I don't know if it will make it. Some of its big fat roots are gone. This is another little guy. I'm not sure. We'll see how he does. So this one came in a sealed bag, and it actually came with 2. These are actually fairly dry, so hopefully they'll do pretty good with the wet. Oh, look. Here is a little tiny asparagus. It doesn't have any color because it's been hidden from the light. Here's another one. So I'm going to separate these. This is a head and this is a head. I think they said there's supposed to be 14 in here. Yeah, 14 rooted plants. So I got to take the rubber bands off and separate them. Remind me of octopuses because you see all the little leggies. Okay. Alright, so I got them all separated. You can barely see these ones, but kind of worried about these ones. They're a little on the dry side. It takes a lot of energy to make, and I did take them off the sprouts. So they need to be at the healthiest, and that's what worries me. This one's got a little sprout coming in, so hopefully it's healthy enough. And then they're really dry though. Also, if you do garden and you get the opportunity to get vegetables that are reds and purples over traditional colors, try to get those because these have more antioxidants than most. Blueberries have higher antioxidants because of their coloring. So it's really important. Like, I do have green ones because these green ones come out really sweet when they are finally ready. I don't know how the purple will come out though. And because of the ground I'm using, I don't know. In my pot, these ones came out really sweet and yummy. So we'll plant these ones. I'll show you how I plant one. I'm going to destroy my beautiful manicure, but that's okay. Gardeners problems. I'm going to plant them right there. Let's go. So I got some dirt. I got my one. I'm going to attempt to show you how I do one. And then I will do the rest and show you. This is a little bit more shallow of a hole than I would normally plant. But because I'm going to do a couple layers on top of it, it will work out just fine. What we do is, this is the space I'm going to use, and I'm going to make a mound, and then I'm going to separate the big roots. This one is one I've been growing for a little bit. You can tell because of all the little white roots, and it's pretty pliable right now. Okay. Okay, so there's my asparagus octopus. That's what it reminds me of. Just make sure everything's facing down. He's on a mound. After I go through this line, I'll show you, and then I'm going to put dirt on top and some other stuff. So there are my little octopuses. They're a little closer than you should plant them, but I don't have a lot of hope for all of them. So we will see what survives, what I replant next year, or if I even replant them here next year, because they should stay in the ground. But if this ground is so muddy, look at my boots. It's a couple layers thick. I could feel it because it's so muddy. So I'm hoping they don't get root rot, which is another reason why I planted these ones dry, not soaking them, because there's so much mud. Anyways, I'm going to cover them. You won't be able to see them after they're covered, and just don't decide when to do the work. All right, there's asparagus.
Thank you for watching, and if you are new, please hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you again soon.